The worst one I have ever seen was where, in a nutshell, it's bad access control, which meant that anybody, whether you just started last week or whether you are the receptionist, if you knew where to look, you could find anything on any employee. So you could see their HR files, you could see how much they were paid, you could do all of that because there wasn't proper defined access control in place to protect that sensitive information. That type of information should only be seeable by HR, obviously, and the employee it refers to. Those ones are quite scary because the second, again, you get someone doing GDPR or cybersecurity training or someone advancing in their career, particularly in our industry in cybersecurity, you're teaching people about cybersecurity weaknesses, so they're more likely to be found. So the awareness of GDPR and the awareness of cybersecurity could potentially lead to more data breaches being discovered. It's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, but that would be the worst one I have seen. The two types of data breaches I see on a regular basis. Number one happens all the time, and this is where someone accidentally uses the CC field instead of the BCC field when they're sending an email. That means basically if you email 100 people at once using the CC field, all the other people in that email thread are going to get the same email, and of course the same email addresses will be on show. That is a data breach. Whether you believe it or not, you are giving out loads of people's email addresses to loads of other people. And yes, that is a very low risk one on the face of it. You have to dig into it a bit deeper. What email did you send? Are you sending sensitive information? Obviously you have to take into context. The other type of data breach is the one that not many people know, and it's the one that you don't see. It's the technology data breaches. So if your development team, if your software team are referring a database to a new CRM system or whatever it may be, but the data in that database hasn't been collected for that purpose, but the developer or the software engineer has thought it's a lot easier to use that data for the same purpose, then when they make that connection, technically that is a data breach because the data is being used against what it was used or collected to be used for, if that makes sense. So it's the technological data breaches that happen that nobody notices until someone with a GDPR type brain or a compliance background actually says, hold on, where does this data come from? Why did you collect it? And why is it now being used for this? So those data breaches go unnoticed until that type of person is there. I use two tactics in particular. One of them is not exactly the most conventional way, but I use comedy. I use, something that really will get their attention. Anybody can stand up in front of a board of directors and deliver a presentation with some graphs that say this is how bad this is and this is how bad this could get. But if you actually do an engaging training session or present the information to them in an engaging way that makes them almost not think it's not a burden, that's another thing, because cybersecurity is seen as sort of like a roadblock to quite a lot of directors or people high up in those positions. But if you actually make it interesting to them, then they're more likely to act. And like I say, comedy and things with Lego, which I've done before, and The Simpsons, believe it or not, has been used. All these kind of things can help make it more engaging. And the other thing is to actually make use of real world situations. So the media does a fantastic job nowadays of actually reporting on data breaches from small ones all the way up to large ones. And when you use examples of organisations similar to their size or similar in their industry, and even conduct something like a tabletop exercise or a real world exercise with them, they actually stop and think, oh, we actually haven't got these kind of things in place and it could save us a lot of time and money in the future.